The apartment smells like burnt coffee and desperation. I stand at the cracked kitchen counter of my studio in Queens, staring at the eviction notice that arrived this morning. 72 hours. That's all I have left before my landlord changes the locks and puts what little I own on the curb. My hands shake as I fold the paper and shove it into my purse. The numbers swim in my head. $3,000 in back rent. Another $2,000 for my brother's medical bills from the car accident last month. He's recovering in a rehab facility upstate, and the insurance only covered half. I've been sending every spare dollar I can, but it's never enough. I'm a nanny. I've been one for 6 years, ever since I graduated with my early childhood education degree and realized that teaching jobs in New York City require connections I don't have and pay salaries I can't live on. I'm good at what I do. Great, even. I've worked for lawyers, doctors, finance executives, all of them too busy building empires to notice their children are growing up without them. But being great doesn't matter when the family you work for decides to move to Singapore with 2 weeks' notice. Which is exactly what the Hutchinsons did 3 weeks ago, leaving me scrambling for new placement in a market flooded with experienced nannies willing to work for less. My phone buzzes. Elena, my placement agency contact. My heart hammers as I answer. Please tell me you have something, I say, skipping the pleasantries. I have something, Elena replies, but her tone makes my stomach drop. But Chloe, you need to understand this is unconventional. Unconventional how? The client is very private, very selective. He's interviewed 43 candidates in the past 2 months and rejected them all. She pauses. His daughter is 4 years old and hasn't spoken in 8 months. Not a single word since her mother died. If you're enjoying this story so far, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Drop a comment telling me where in the world you're watching from. I love hearing from you. My chest tightens. A grieving child. A desperate father. This is exactly the kind of situation that breaks my heart and makes me want to help. What happened to the mother? I ask quietly. Car accident. The child was in the vehicle but survived with minor injuries. The trauma specialist says she's physically capable of speech but has chosen not to speak. Elena's voice softens. The father is offering double the standard rate. He wants someone who specializes in childhood trauma and music therapy. Your minor in music therapy is why I thought of you. Double the standard rate. That's enough to pay my rent, help my brother, and maybe, finally, breathe. What's the catch? I ask, because there's always a catch. Elena hesitates. He requires complete discretion, background checks that go beyond the standard, security clearances, and the interview is tonight at 8 at his home in Manhattan. He doesn't do multiple rounds. You get one shot. What does he do? Why all the security? He owns several businesses, restaurants, real estate, import-export. The agency didn't get specifics, but he's clearly very successful and very protective of his privacy. Restaurants and import-export. In New York. With this level of security and paranoia, I'm not naive. I've lived in this city long enough to recognize the signs. Elena, I say carefully, is this man connected? She's silent for 3 seconds too long. I can't confirm anything like that, Chloe. I can tell you that he pays on time, in cash, if preferred, and that he's desperate to help his daughter. That little girl needs someone who can reach her. I close my eyes. I should say no. I should tell Elena to find me something else, something normal, something that doesn't involve the kind of man who requires security clearances and deals in cash. But normal doesn't pay $3,000 in back rent. Normal doesn't save my brother's physical therapy. Normal doesn't keep me from sleeping in my car. Text me the address, I hear myself say. I'll be there at 8. The brownstone in the Upper East Side is the kind of building that doesn't have a visible price tag, because if you have to ask, you can't afford it. 5 stories of pristine limestone with wrought iron balconies and windows that glow with warm light. A far cry from my studio with the radiator that clangs like a dying animal. I stand on the sidewalk, smoothing down my navy dress, the nicest thing I own. It's professional, modest, appropriate for meeting a potential employer. My hair is pulled back in a neat bun. My makeup is subtle. I look competent, trustworthy, safe. I look like someone you'd trust with your child. 2 men in dark suits flank the entrance. They're not trying to be subtle about it. One speaks into a wrist microphone as I approach. "Name?" he asks, his eyes scanning me with professional efficiency. "Chloe Bennett." "I have an interview at 8. He checks a tablet, then nods. "ID, please." I hand over my driver's license. He scans it with a device I've never seen before, then returns it. "You can go in, 3rd floor. Someone will meet you." The interior of the brownstone is breathtaking. Marble floors, a sweeping staircase with an ornate banister, artwork that looks museum quality. Everything whispers of old money and new power. A woman in her 50s meets me at the base of the stairs. She's dressed simply but elegantly, her gray hair pulled into a neat twist. "Miss Bennett?" "I'm Rosa, the house manager. Please follow me." We ascend to the 3rd floor in silence. Rosa's heels click against the hardwood with metronomic precision. She leads me to a set of double doors and knocks twice. "Come in." The voice is deep, controlled, with an edge that makes my skin prickle. Rosa opens the door and gestures for me to enter. "Mr. Marcello will see you now." The office is masculine and understated. Dark wood, leather, furniture, floor-to-ceiling bookshelves. A massive desk dominates the space, and behind it sits a man who makes the air feel thinner. He's younger than I expected. Mid-30s, maybe. Dark hair perfectly styled, sharp jawline shadowed with deliberate stubble. He wears a white shirt with the sleeves rolled to his elbows, revealing forearms corded with muscle. No tie, top button undone. He looks like he just stepped out of a cologne ad. Except his eyes are cold, assessing, dangerous. This is not a man who built his fortune through legitimate means alone. Sit. Not a request, a command. I sit, keeping my spine straight, my hands folded in my lap. "Thank you for seeing me, Mr. Marcello." He doesn't respond immediately. Instead, he opens a folder on his desk. My folder, I realize with a start. My entire life laid out in typed documents and photographs. Chloe Marie Bennett. He reads without looking up. 28 years old. Bachelor's degree in early childhood education from NYU. Minor in music therapy. 6 years experience as a private nanny. Excellent references from previous employers. No criminal record. No history of drug use. No outstanding debts except student loans and recent medical bills for your brother, Tyler Bennett, who was injured in a car accident 5 weeks ago. My mouth goes dry. "How do you know about my brother?" His eyes lift to meet mine. They're dark brown, almost black, and utterly cold. "I know everything about the people I allow into my home, Miss Bennett. Your brother was hit by a drunk driver on Route 84. He suffered a broken pelvis, shattered femur, and traumatic brain injury. He's currently at Northwood Rehabilitation Center, making slow progress. The bills are mounting, and your insurance is inadequate." Anger flares hot in my chest. "You had no right to dig into my family's private medical information. I have every right to protect my daughter." His voice doesn't rise, but something in it makes me press back into my chair. "You want access to the most important person in my world. I will know everything about you before I even consider allowing that." I force myself to take a breath. He's right, in a terrible, invasive way. If I had the resources, I'd probably do the same thing. "Your financial situation is precarious," he continues, closing the folder. "You're 3 months behind on rent. Your landlord has filed for eviction. You have $47 in your checking account and a credit card that's nearly maxed out." He leans back in his chair, studying me. Desperation makes people do things they wouldn't normally do. It also makes them highly motivated to keep a job once they have it. "I'm not desperate enough to harm a child," I say, my voice steady despite the humiliation burning in my throat. "No," he agrees. "You're desperate enough to take a job with a man you suspect is a criminal." The accusation hangs in the air between us. I could deny it, play innocent, but something tells me this. Man values honesty over pretty lies. Elena said you need someone who specializes in childhood trauma and music therapy. I say instead, I'm one of the few nannies in New York with both qualifications. You've interviewed 43 candidates and rejected them all. So yes, I came here knowing you're probably not just a restaurant owner, but I'm here for your daughter, not for whatever else you do. For the first time, something shifts in his expression. Not quite approval, but perhaps respect. Isabella, he says quietly, and the way he says her name, with such careful tenderness, transforms his entire face. She's 4 years old. She loves strawberries and refuses to eat anything green. She has nightmares every night. She hasn't spoken since her mother died 8 months ago. I'm sorry for your loss, I say, meaning it. His jaw tightens. I don't want your sympathy. I want results. I want my daughter to speak again, to laugh, to be a child instead of a ghost haunting my house. Trauma doesn't have a timeline, Mr. Marcello. She might speak tomorrow or next year or never. Forcing it will only make it worse. I'm not asking you to force anything. I'm asking you to help her heal. He stands, buttoning his cuffs with precise movements. The job is live-in. Your room will be on the 4th floor, next to Isabella's. You'll be responsible for her care from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., Monday through Friday. Weekends are flexible based on my schedule. The pay is $10,000 a month, plus room and board. $10,000. I struggle to keep my face neutral. That's more than double what I was making with the Hutchinsons. There are conditions, he continues. You will not discuss my business with anyone. You will not bring guests to this house. You will not leave the property with Isabella without my explicit permission and security escort. You will sign a non-disclosure agreement that survives the termination of your employment. Break any of these rules, and the consequences will be severe. The threat is subtle but unmistakable. I should walk away. Every instinct screams that getting involved with this man is dangerous. But then I think of my brother in that rehab center, struggling to relearn how to walk. I think of the eviction notice in my purse. I think of a little girl who hasn't spoken in 8 months. I'd like to meet Isabella before I decide, I say. He studies me for a long moment, then nods. Follow me. We leave the office and walk down a hallway lined with photographs. I catch glimpses of Isabella at various ages. A newborn, a toddler, a little girl with dark curls and her father's eyes. In every photo, she's smiling, vibrant, alive. There are photos of a woman too, beautiful, with olive skin and thick dark hair. Isabella's mother. In some photos, she's alone. In others, she's with Marcello, his arm around her waist, his expression softer than I've seen it. He notices me looking but says nothing. We stop at a door painted pale pink. Marcello knocks softly, then opens it. The room is every little girl's dream. A canopy bed with gauze curtains, walls painted like a garden with flowers and butterflies, shelves overflowing with toys and books. But what breaks my heart is the little girl sitting in the window seat, staring out at the darkening sky. She's tiny, delicate, with her mother's dark curls and her father's bone structure. She wears pink pajamas with unicorns on them. Her feet are bare. She doesn't turn when we enter. Bella, Marcello says, his voice transforming into something unbearably gentle. There's someone I'd like you to meet. Isabella doesn't respond. Doesn't even acknowledge we're there. I watch Marcello's face crumble just slightly before he schools it back to neutrality. This hard, dangerous man is shattered by his daughter's silence. Can I? I gesture toward Isabella. He nods, stepping back. I cross the room slowly, making sure my footsteps are audible so I don't startle her. I sit on the window seat, not too close, leaving space between us. Hi, Isabella, I say softly. My name is Chloe. Your dad thought maybe we could be friends. No response. Her eyes remain fixed on the window. I follow her gaze. From here, You can see the street below, cars passing, people walking their dogs, life continuing as if the world hasn't ended. I like watching the street too, I say conversationally. Sometimes I make up stories about the people walking by. See that man in the blue coat? I bet he's going home to feed his 17 cats. And that woman with the yellow umbrella? She's actually a secret agent pretending to be a librarian. Nothing, but I notice her hands have stopped fidgeting in her lap. She's listening, even if she won't show it. I hum softly. A melody from my childhood. My grandmother used to sing it to me when I was scared. It's Italian. A lullaby about stars watching over children as they sleep. Stella, Stellina, la notte s'avvicina. Isabella's head turns, just slightly. Her eyes, large and dark and full of pain, meet mine for the first time. La fiamma traballa, la mucca nella stalla. She blinks and I see it. Recognition, connection, something. I keep singing, my voice barely above a whisper. It's a simple song, repetitive and soothing. I reach into my purse and pull out the small wooden music box my grandmother gave me. I wind it up, and the same melody plays, delicate and crystalline. Isabella's eyes widen, her lips part. I hold my breath, not daring to hope. She doesn't speak, but she reaches out one small hand and touches the music box with wondering fingers. Behind me, I hear Marcello inhale sharply. I let Isabella hold the music box, watching as she brings it close to her chest, closing her eyes as the melody plays. A single tear slides down her cheek. When the music stops, she winds it up herself with careful, precise movements. She listens to it play through twice more before finally, carefully, handing it back to me. Then she looks at her father and gives the smallest nod. Marcello's hand grips the doorframe so hard his knuckles turn white. "I'll take the job," I whisper. I move into the Marcello brownstone on a gray Saturday morning in early November. Everything I own fits into 2 suitcases and a duffel bag, a depressing testament to how little I've accumulated in 28 years. The men in dark suits who flank the entrance carry my luggage upstairs without a word, their faces carefully blank. Rosa meets me on the 4th floor, her expression warm but professional. "Your room is here, next to Isabella's. Mr. Marcello had it prepared for you. The room is 3 times the size of my studio apartment. A queen bed with a cream duvet, a window seat overlooking the garden, a private bathroom with a clawfoot tub, a desk and bookshelf already stocked with child psychology texts and music therapy resources. There's even a small upright piano in the corner. He thought you might need that," Rosa says, noticing where I'm looking. "For your work with Isabella." I run my fingers over the keys. It's been tuned recently, the ivory smooth under my touch. "This is too much." Rosa's smile is knowing. Mr. Marcello doesn't do anything by half measures. When he commits to something, he commits completely. She moves toward the door. "Breakfast is at 8. Isabella usually wakes around 7. Mr. Marcello has already left for a meeting, but he'll return this afternoon." After she leaves, I unpack slowly, hanging my modest wardrobe in a closet designed for someone with far more clothes. My few books look lost on the expansive shelves. I place my grandmother's music box on the nightstand, the one thing of value I own. At 7:15, I hear small footsteps in the hallway. I open my door to find Isabella standing there, still in her unicorn pajamas, staring at me with those enormous dark eyes. "Good morning," I say softly. "Did you sleep okay?" She doesn't respond, but she doesn't leave either. Progress. I was just about to get dressed. "Then maybe we could have breakfast together?" I keep my voice light, conversational, making no demands. "Rosa told me there are strawberries. I heard someone really likes strawberries." The tiniest flicker of interest crosses her face. "Why don't you get dressed too, and we'll go down together?" She nods once, then disappears back into her room. 15 minutes later, she emerges wearing a purple dress with butterflies embroidered on the collar. Her hair is tangled, and she's holding a hairbrush, looking at it with frustration. "May I?" I gesture to the brush, She hesitates, then hands it to me and sits on the floor between my knees, just like I used to do with my own mother before she died. I brush her hair gently, working through the tangles with patient care. She leans back slightly, just enough that I know she's relaxing. I braid her hair into 2 loose plaits, securing them with purple ribbons I find on her dresser. "There," I say when I'm finished. "Beautiful." She touches the braids, then looks up at me with something that might be gratitude. Breakfast is in a sunlit dining room that feels too formal for a 4-year-old. Rosa has set out a spread that could feed 10 people. Fresh fruit, pastries, eggs, bacon, juice, milk. Isabella climbs into her chair and immediately reaches for the strawberries. I sit beside her, pouring milk into her glass. "How many strawberries should we start with? 5? 10? 100? Her lips twitch, almost a smile. "I think 5 is probably good," I continue, placing exactly 5 strawberries on her plate. "We can always get more." She eats them slowly, methodically, her eyes never leaving my face. It's unnerving and heartbreaking in equal measure. This child is starving for connection but terrified of it at the same time. After breakfast, I suggest we explore the garden. It's unseasonably warm for November, the sun breaking through the clouds. The garden is extensive, with paths winding through beds of late-blooming roses and chrysanthemums. There's a fountain in the center, the water creating a peaceful burbling sound. Isabella walks beside me, her small hand occasionally brushing mine but never quite holding it. I point out birds, flowers, the way the light catches the water. I hum the lullaby from last night, and she stops to listen, her face tilted up toward me. "My grandmother taught me that song," I tell her. "When I was little and scared, she'd sing it to me. It always made me feel safe." Isabella's eyes fill with tears. She turns away quickly, but not before I see them spill over. "It's okay to be sad," I say gently. "It's okay to miss your mama. You don't have to be brave all the time." She wraps her arms around herself, her small body shaking with silent sobs. I kneel beside her, not touching, just present. "I lost my mama too," I whisper, "when I was 8. She got sick, and one day she just didn't wake up. I didn't talk much for a while after that either. It hurt too much to use words." Isabella looks at me, really looks at me, and in her eyes I see recognition. Understanding. We're the same, she and I. Both of us broken by loss, trying to figure out how to keep living. Slowly, tentatively, she reaches out and touches my hand. Her fingers are small and warm. I hold very still, letting her decide, and then she steps closer and buries her face against my shoulder. I wrap my arms around her and let her cry. She doesn't make a sound, but her whole body shakes with the force of her grief. I rock her gently, humming the lullaby, feeling my own tears slip down my cheeks. We stay like that for a long time, 2 broken girls holding each other in a garden, the November sun warming our backs. When Marcello returns that afternoon, he finds us in the music room on the 2nd floor. I'm at the piano, playing simple melodies, and Isabella sits beside me on the bench, watching my fingers move across the keys. He stands in the doorway, and I see something shift in his expression. When he sees his daughter sitting so close to me, leaning slightly against my side. "She's been crying," he says, his voice tight. "Yes," I confirm, not stopping my playing. "That's good. She needs to cry. She's been holding it in for too long." His jaw clenches. "I don't want her to be in pain." "She's already in pain, mister." "Marcello." This is her starting to let it out. Isabella turns to look at her father, and something passes between them. An understanding, perhaps, or forgiveness. She slides off the bench and walks to him, and he crouches down to her level immediately. She doesn't speak, but she touches his face with one small hand, tracing the line of his jaw. His eyes close, and I see him struggling to maintain his composure. "Hi, baby," he whispers. "I missed you today." She leans forward and rests her forehead against his. They stay like that for a long moment, and I look away, feeling like an intruder on something sacred. When I glance back, Marcello is looking at me over Isabella's head, and the gratitude in his eyes is almost painful to witness. The first week passes in a rhythm that feels almost normal. I wake with Isabella. We have breakfast. We play in the garden or the playroom. We work on letters and numbers. We make art. I sing to her constantly, introducing her to new songs, encouraging her to hum along. She doesn't speak, but she's communicating. Nods and shakes of her head, pointing, tugging my hand when she wants to show me something. Small, tentative smiles that break my heart every time. Marcello is gone most days, leaving early and returning late. But when he's home, he's completely present with Isabella. He reads to her before bed, his voice losing all its hard edges as he brings storybook characters to life. He plays with her, getting down on the floor to build elaborate block towers that she delights in knocking down. He's a good father. Whatever else he is, whatever darkness exists in his world, with his daughter, he's gentle and patient and loving. I try not to think about what he does when he leaves the brownstone. The men in suits who guard the entrance. The hushed phone conversations I sometimes overhear. The way Rosa and the other staff move with a deference that goes beyond respect into something closer to fear. This isn't my world. I'm just here for Isabella. But on the 8th day, my world and his collide in a way I can't ignore. It's late afternoon, and I'm in the kitchen with Isabella, making cookies. She's standing on a stool beside me, carefully pressing her thumb into balls of dough to make thumbprint cookies. There's flour in her hair and on her nose, and she's as close to happy as I've seen her. Rosa is at the stove, making dinner. The kitchen smells like vanilla and tomato sauce, and something indefinably like home. Then I hear shouting from the front of the house. Male voices, angry and aggressive. The kitchen door bursts open, and one of the security guards appears, his face grim. Rosa, take them to the safe room. Now. Rosa doesn't hesitate. She grabs Isabella, and I follow on instinct as she rushes through a door I've never noticed before, hidden behind a pantry shelf. It leads to a narrow staircase descending into darkness. My heart hammers as we descend. Safe room. Why does a brownstone need a safe room? At the bottom of the stairs is a steel door with a keypad. Rosa punches in a code, and it swings open to reveal a windowless room with concrete walls. There are supplies here. Water, food, blankets, a first aid kit, and weapons. Guns mounted on the wall. What's happening? I ask, my voice shaking as I pull Isabella close. I don't know. Rosa's face is pale. But when Marco says to go to the safe room, we go. Above us, I hear more shouting. A crash. The unmistakable sound of gunfire. Isabella's body goes rigid in my arms. Her breathing becomes rapid, shallow, panicked. I recognize it immediately. She's having a panic attack. Hey, look at me. I cup her face in my hands, making her eyes focus on mine. You're safe. I've got you. Nothing's going to hurt you. But she's not seeing me. She's somewhere else, somewhere terrible. Her eyes are wide and glassy, her whole body trembling. I do the only thing I can think of. I start to sing. Stella, Stellina, la notte s'avvicina. Her eyes flicker, recognition fighting through the panic. La fiamma treballa, la mucca è nella stalla. I pull her close, rocking her, my voice steady even though my own hands are shaking. Rosa watches us, tears streaming down her face. La mucca è il vitello, la pecora è l'agnello. Isabella's breathing starts to slow. Her grip on my shirt loosens slightly. La cioccia coi pultini, la gatta coi gattini. I keep singing, cycling through every lullaby I know. Italian, English, French. The words don't matter. The melody is what counts. The steady, soothing rhythm that says, "You're safe. I'm here. Nothing will hurt you." Time becomes meaningless in the safe room. It could be minutes or hours. All I know is Isabella's small body pressed against mine, the feel of her heart gradually slowing to match my own. Finally, there's a knock on the door. 3 quick raps, a pause, 2 more. Rosa exhales in relief. That's the all-clear signal. She opens the door to find Marco, the head of security, his face grim. There's blood on his shirt, but he moves without injury. It's over, he says. Mr. Marcello wants to see you all upstairs. We emerge into chaos. The front hallway is destroyed. Shattered glass, splintered wood, bullet holes in the walls. There are men in suits cleaning up, working with efficient precision. No bodies, I notice. Whatever happened here, they've already removed the evidence. Marcello is in his office, standing by the window with a phone pressed to his ear. When he sees us, he ends the call immediately. His eyes go straight to Isabella, scanning her for injuries with barely concealed panic. Then they move to me, and something in his expression makes my breath catch. Are you hurt? His voice is rough, strained. No, we're fine. Rosa got us to the safe room in time. He crosses the room in 3 strides and takes Isabella from my arms. Holding her so tightly, I worry he'll crush her. She doesn't protest, just wraps her arms and legs around him like a monkey, burying her face in his neck. I'm sorry, he says into her hair. I'm so sorry, baby. This should never have happened. Over Isabella's head, his eyes meet mine. Thank you, he mouths. I nod, my throat too tight to speak. He looks at Rosa. Take tonight off. Tomorrow, too. I'll have Marco arrange security for your apartment. Mr. Marcello, I don't need... Yes, you do. His tone leaves no room for argument. Everyone who works for me is now a target until I handle this. That includes you. Rosa nods and leaves quietly. Marcello turns his attention back to me. You should pack your things. The words hit me like a physical blow. You're firing me? I'm protecting you. This isn't safe. What happened today? He breaks off, his jaw clenched so tight I can see the muscle jumping. Men came into my home. My home. Where my daughter lives. Where you live. I won't risk either of you. Isabella needs me. Isabella needs to be alive more than she needs a nanny. The cold practicality of it stings, but I understand. This is his world. Violence and danger are part of the package. I'm collateral damage waiting to happen. But then Isabella does something that changes everything. She lifts her head from her father's shoulder and looks at him. Then she turns to look at me. Her eyes are red from crying, but they're clear, determined. She reaches for me. Marcello's arms tighten reflexively. Bella. She reaches again, more insistently. I step closer, and she launches herself from her father's arms into mine, clinging to me with desperate strength. Her small body shakes, and I feel wetness against my neck as she cries silently. I'm not leaving her, I say quietly, looking directly at Marcello. Not when she's finally starting to trust someone. Sending me away now would destroy what little progress she's made. You don't understand what you're getting into. Then explain it to me. He stares at me for a long moment, and I see the war raging behind his eyes. Logic versus emotion, safety versus need. The men who came here today work for Victor Salvatore, he finally says. He controls the docks. I've been systematically taking over his territory for the past 6 months. This was his response. Will he come back? Not here, not after today. I'll make sure of it. The promise in his voice is dark and absolute. But there will be others. There are always others. Men who see weakness and try to exploit it. Men who think they can take what's mine. And Isabella and I are your weakness. He doesn't deny it. Yes. If you're so dangerous, why didn't you send Isabella away to boarding school or to family somewhere safe? His expression hardens. Because I already lost her mother. I won't lose her too. I won't be an absentee father who sees his child twice a year and wonders why she doesn't know him. The rawness in his voice catches me off guard. This isn't just about control or possession. This is love, desperate and all-consuming. Then you need me, I say firmly. Because you can't be with her 24/7. You can't protect her and run your empire at the same time. You need someone Isabella trusts, someone who will die before letting anything happen to her. And that's you? Skepticism colors his tone. A nanny from Queens who can barely afford her rent? Yes. I meet his gaze without flinching. That's me. Isabella's arms tighten around my neck, as if she's adding her own silent agreement. Marcello runs a hand through his hair, and for the first time since I met him, he looks tired. Not just physically tired, but soul-weary. The weight of his world pressing down on shoulders built to carry it but straining under the load nonetheless. The security around this house will triple, he says finally. You don't leave the property without armed guards. You don't go anywhere without telling Marco first. You carry a phone on you at all times, and if I call, you answer immediately. Understood? Understood. And if I tell you to take Isabella and run, you run. You don't ask questions. You don't hesitate. You just go. There's an emergency plan in place. Marco will brief you on it tomorrow. The seriousness of what I'm agreeing to settles over me like a heavy blanket. This isn't just a job anymore. This is my life, my safety, possibly my future, all tied to this man and his daughter. One more thing, Marcello says, his voice dropping lower. You asked me to explain what you're getting into. Come with me. He takes Isabella from my arms gently, settling her on his hip. She's exhausted, her head drooping against his shoulder. He leads me down to the first floor, past the main living areas to a door I've never seen opened. Inside is an office that makes his upstairs study look like a child's playroom. Multiple monitors showing security feeds from what must be dozens of locations. Maps on the walls marked with pins and strings connecting them. A gun safe in the corner. And on the desk, open files with photographs of men, some alive, some very clearly dead. This is who I am, Chloe, he says, using my first name for the first time. I'm not just a businessman. I run one of the 5 families that control organized crime in New York. The restaurants, the real estate, the import-export, those are real, but they're also covers for moving drugs, guns, money. I have judges on my payroll, cops who look the other way, politicians who owe me favors. He gestures to the files. These men want me dead. Some because I've taken their territory. Some because I've refused to work with them. Some because I killed people they loved. His eyes bore into mine. I am not a good man, Chloe. I've done terrible things. I'll do terrible things again. The question is, can you live with that? I should be terrified. Every rational cell in my body screams that I should grab my things and run as far and as fast as I can. But I look at Isabella, asleep against her father's shoulder, her face finally peaceful. I think about how she reached for me, how she started to heal in my care. I think about my brother, still in that rehab facility, and how my paychecks from Marcello have finally caught up his bills. And I think about the man standing before me, dangerous and deadly, but looking at his daughter with such fierce, protective love that it transforms him into something almost human. I can live with it, I hear myself say. As long as you keep your darkness away from Isabella. Whatever you do out there. I gesture vaguely toward the door. It stays out there. In here, in this house, you're just her father. Can you do that? He studies me for a long moment, and I see something shift in his expression. Respect, maybe. Or recognition. Yes, he says finally. I can do that. Then we have a deal. If you're hooked on this story, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Your support means everything and helps me bring you more emotional stories like this one. He carries Isabella upstairs to her room, and I follow. We put her to bed together, him tucking the blankets around her while I wind up the music box. The familiar melody fills the room, and Isabella's breathing deepens into sleep. In the hallway outside her room, Marcello stops me with a hand on my arm. His touch is warm, firm, sending an unwelcome jolt of awareness through me. Thank you, he says quietly, for keeping her calm down there, for staying. He breaks off, shaking his head. Just thank you. She's easy to care about. She's not the only one. The words are so soft I almost miss them. I look up sharply, but he's already turning away, disappearing down the stairs before I can respond. I stand in the darkened hallway, my heart pounding, trying to convince myself I imagined what I just heard. But I didn't. And the terrifying part is, I think I might feel the same way. The next morning, I wake to find the house has transformed into a fortress. There are twice as many guards, cameras in every corner, motion sensors I never noticed before now, blinking with active red lights. Marco briefs me on emergency protocols, escape routes, safe houses scattered across the city. Marcello takes threats to his family very seriously, Marco explains, showing me how to use the panic button now installed in every room. After yesterday, we're not taking any chances. Isabella seems oblivious to the changes, or perhaps she's just used to this level of security. We fall back into our routine. Breakfast, garden time, music lessons, art projects. But I'm hyper-aware now of every sound, every shadow, every unfamiliar face. 3 days after the attack, a package arrives at the front door. Marco brings it to Marcello's office, and I'm called down to join them. Inside the box is a single photograph. Me and Isabella in the garden, taken from outside the property with a telephoto lens. On the back, written in neat block letters, "Pretty little Nanny. It would be a shame if something happened to her." My blood runs cold. They know who I am. They've been watching. Marcello's face is carved from stone as he stares at the photograph. When he speaks, his voice is deadly calm. "Double the perimeter security. I want eyes on every approach to this property. And find out who took this photo. I want them in front of me by tonight." Marco nods and leaves. I'm frozen, staring at the image of myself, captured without my knowledge. The violation of it makes my skin crawl. "You should go," Marcello says without looking at me. "Pack your things. Marco will take you somewhere safe. We've had this conversation. I'm not leaving Isabella. They're targeting you now. Specifically you." He finally looks at me, and the fury in his eyes makes me step back. "They know you matter to her. They know hurting you would destroy her. And they're right. So we let them win? We let them dictate our lives? I let you live." His voice rises for the first time since I've known him. "Because if something happens to you, if they take you or hurt you or kill you, Isabella will never recover. And He breaks off, jaw clenched. "You what?" He turns away, gripping the edge of his desk so hard his knuckles turn white. I wouldn't recover either. The confession hangs in the air between us, heavy with implication. "Marcello, don't." He holds up a hand. "Don't say anything. This is already complicated enough." "You're right. It is complicated. But running won't solve it. They'll just find another way to hurt you. Another target. Another vulnerability." I take a deep breath. I'm choosing to stay, knowing the risks. That's my decision to make. He turns to face me, and the look in his eyes is something I've never seen before. Not cold, not calculating, but raw and vulnerable and desperate. "Why?" he asks hoarsely. "Why would you risk your life for us?" The answer should be simple. The job, the money, the obligation. But we both know it's not that simple anymore. "Because I love her," I say honestly. "In 3 weeks, she's become the most important person in my life. And because I hesitate, afraid to say it, afraid of what it means. Because," he prompts, taking a step closer. "Because I think I'm starting to care about you too," I whisper. And I have no idea what to do about that. His hand comes up to cup my face, his thumb brushing my cheekbone with surprising gentleness. Neither do I. We stand like that for a moment, the air between us charged with possibility and danger in equal measure. Then his phone rings, shattering the moment. He answers it, his expression hardening as he listens. When? He demands. How many? A pause. I'll be there. In 20 minutes. He ends the call and looks at me. I have to go. There's a situation at one of the warehouses. Be careful. Something softens in his eyes. Always. He heads for the door, then stops. Chloe, lock yourself and Isabella in her room until I get back. Don't open the door for anyone except Marco or Rosa. Okay. He leaves, and I hear his footsteps receding down the hallway, the front door opening and closing. The sudden silence of the house feels oppressive. I go upstairs to find Isabella playing with her dolls. She looks up when I enter, and I plaster on a smile. Hey, sweetheart. How about we have a princess tea party? We can lock the door and pretend we're in a castle, and no dragons can get in. She nods enthusiastically, and I lock the door behind us, my heart pounding. We're safe here. We have to be. But as I pour pretend tea into tiny plastic cups and Isabella arranges her dolls around the table, I can't shake the feeling that everything is about to change. And I'm not sure any of us are ready for what's coming. Marcelo doesn't come home that night. I keep Isabella in her room as instructed, turning our lockdown into an adventure. We build a blanket fort, have 3 tea parties, and I teach her simple melodies on a toy xylophone. She falls asleep around 9, curled against my side in the fort, her small hand clutching my shirt. I don't sleep. Every sound makes me jump. Every creak of the old brownstone settling sends my heart racing. Marco checks in via the intercom every hour, his voice professional and reassuring, but I hear the tension beneath it. At 2 a.m., I finally hear the front door, heavy footsteps on the stairs, a soft knock at Isabella's door. It's me, Marcelo's voice, rougher than usual. I carefully extract myself from Isabella's grip and unlock the door. He stands in the hallway, and my breath catches. There's blood on his shirt. Not a lot, but enough. His knuckles are split and bruised. His jaw is tight with barely controlled rage. Are you hurt? I whisper. It's not my blood. He steps inside, his eyes going immediately to his daughter sleeping in the fort. Something in his expression cracks. Is she? She's fine. We've been here all night. She had fun, actually. Didn't even realize anything was wrong. He nods, running a hand through his disheveled hair. Good, that's good. What happened at the warehouse? His eyes meet mine, and I see something dark and terrible in them. Victor Salvatore tried to send another message. He had men waiting to ambush my crew. His voice drops lower. They didn't succeed. I don't ask for details. I don't want to know exactly what that means. You should clean up, I say quietly. Change your shirt before she wakes up and sees. He looks down at himself as if just remembering the blood. Yeah, I should, but he doesn't move. Instead, he crosses to the fort and kneels beside it, watching Isabella sleep. He reaches out and gently brushes a curl from her forehead. When her mother died, he says softly, I thought I'd lost the only good thing in my life. The only thing that made this world bearable. He looks up at me. I was wrong. My heart stutters in my chest. Marcello, let me finish. He stands, moving closer to me. Close enough that I can smell gun oil and smoke and something uniquely him beneath it all. I've built my entire life on control. Every move calculated, every relationship transactional. But you, he shakes his head. You walked into my home and turned everything upside down. You made my daughter smile. You made her cry and heal. You stayed when you should have run. You chose us even after seeing exactly what we are. I chose Isabella. I correct, but my voice lacks conviction. Did you? Did you? His hand comes up to cup my face. The same gesture from earlier, but this time his touch lingers. Because when I was at that warehouse tonight bleeding and fighting, all I could think about was getting back here. To her, and to you. Making sure you were both safe. Making sure I hadn't already lost you. You can't lose something you don't have. Can't I? His thumb traces my lower lip, and I stop breathing. Because it feels like I already have you, Chloe. It feels like you're already mine, even though I have no right to you. Even though being mine puts you in danger. I'm already in danger, I whisper. That photo proved it. They already see me as yours. Then maybe I should stop fighting it. He leans in slowly, giving me time to pull away, to protest, to be sensible. I don't do any of those things. When his lips meet mine, it's nothing like I imagined. It's not aggressive or demanding. It's gentle, almost reverent, as if he's afraid I'll disappear if he's not careful. His hand tangles in my hair, the other settling at the small of my back, pulling me closer. I kiss him back, my hands finding purchase on his chest, feeling his heart hammering beneath my palms. He tastes like whiskey and danger and something I can't name but know I'll crave forever. When we finally break apart, we're both breathing hard. He rests his forehead against mine, his eyes closed. This is a mistake, he murmurs. Probably. I can't protect you and be with you. It makes you too much of a target. I'm already a target. Chloe, stop overthinking it. I pull back to look at him. For once in your carefully controlled life, just feel something without analyzing it to death. A ghost of a smile touches his lips. You make it sound so simple. It is simple. You want me, I want you. Everything else is just noise. The noise could get you killed. Then I'll die knowing I chose to live, instead of just survive. I touch his face, feeling the stubble rough beneath my fingers. I've spent my whole life being careful, Marcelo, playing it safe, making responsible choices. And where did it get me? Broke, alone, stuck in a studio apartment I couldn't afford. You and Isabella are the first real thing I've felt in years. I'm not walking away from that. He studies me for a long moment, searching for doubt or hesitation. He won't find any. I've never been more certain of anything in my life. Okay, he says finally. But we do this my way. The security around you triples. You go nowhere without guards. You learn to shoot, to defend yourself. You become a hard target. Okay. And if something happens to me? He pulls a key from his pocket and presses it into my hand. There's a safe in the basement. The combination is Isabella's birthday. Inside is cash, new identities for both of you, instructions for where to go. Marco knows the plan. He'll help you disappear. The weight of what he's giving me settles over me like a shroud. This is his doomsday scenario, his contingency plan for when his world finally comes crashing down. Nothing's going to happen to you, I say firmly. You can't promise that. Neither can you, but you're promising to keep me safe anyway. I close my fingers around the key. We protect each other. That's how this works. He pulls me close, tucking my head beneath his chin. I feel his heartbeat, steady and strong, and let myself believe, just for a moment, that we might actually survive this. Behind us, Isabella stirs in her sleep, murmuring something unintelligible. We both turn to look at her, this small person who brought us together, who made us both believe in second chances. She needs to be far away from this, Marcello says quietly. When the war with Salvatore escalates, I want her somewhere safe. You mean send her away? I mean all of you. You, Isabella, Rosa, maybe somewhere upstate. I have a property in the Adirondacks. Secure, isolated. Salvatore wouldn't find you there. My stomach clenches. And you? I stay and end this. Once and for all. His arms tighten around me. I can't protect her and fight at the same time. I need to know she's safe. How long? A few weeks. A month at most. I want to argue, to tell him that we should stay together, that separating is exactly what Salvatore wants. But I see the logic in his plan, the cold practicality. Isabella would be safer away from the city, away from the coming violence. When? I ask. Soon. I'm working on the details. He releases me, stepping back. I should go clean up. Get some sleep, Chloe. Tomorrow's going to be a long day. After he leaves, I crawl back into the blanket fort with Isabella. She shifts closer, seeking my warmth even in sleep. I hold her and stare at the ceiling, my mind racing. Everything is about to change. I can feel it in the air, in the tension that permeates the house, in the way Marcello looked at me like he was memorizing my face. A storm is coming, and I have no idea if any of us will survive it. The next 2 weeks pass in a strange limbo. Outwardly, life continues as normal. Isabella and I follow our routine lessons, music, playtime. She's making progress, humming along with songs now, even laughing occasionally at my deliberately silly voices during story time. But beneath the surface, everything is different. Marcello is gone more often, sometimes for days at a time. When he's home, he's distracted, taking calls at all hours, closeted in his office, with Marco and other men I don't recognize. The security around the house becomes suffocating. I can't walk into a room without seeing guards, cameras, motion sensors. And then there's us. Marcello and I don't talk about the kiss. We don't acknowledge what's growing between us, but it's there in every glance, every accidental touch, every moment alone that feels charged with possibility. Late at night, after Isabella is asleep, I sometimes find him in his office, staring at maps and files, the weight of his world pressing down on him. I bring him coffee, sit quietly while he works. He doesn't send me away. Once, I fell asleep on his office couch waiting for him to finish a call. I woke to find myself covered with his suit jacket, the scent of his cologne surrounding me. He was asleep at his desk, his head pillowed on his arms, looking younger and more vulnerable than I'd ever seen him. I should have left. Instead, I stayed, watching him sleep, memorizing the lines of his face in the dim light from his desk lamp. He woke to find me watching. Our eyes met across the darkened office, and something passed between us. Understanding, recognition, fear. "Come here," he said softly. I crossed to him, and he pulled me down onto his lap, tucking my head beneath his chin. We sat like that for hours, not talking, just holding each other, stealing this moment of peace before the storm hit. On a Tuesday morning in early December, everything falls apart. I'm in the garden with Isabella when Marco appears, his face grim. "Miss Bennett, Mr. Marcello needs you inside. Now." The urgency in his voice makes my blood run cold. I scoop up Isabella and hurry into the house. Marcello is in his office, standing in front of the monitors. One shows security footage from the front gate. As I watch, a black SUV pulls up, and a man in an expensive suit steps out. "That's Victor Salvatore," Marcello says without turning around. "He's here for a meeting." My arms tighten around Isabella. Why would he come here? To negotiate terms. His voice is flat, emotionless. He's offering a truce. Split the disputed territory. Maintain our current holdings. No more bloodshed. That's good, isn't it? That's what you want? It's a trap. He finally turns to look at me, and I see rage and calculation warring in his eyes. He doesn't negotiate. He's here for a reason, and it's not peace. Then don't meet with him. I have to. If I refuse, it shows weakness. But I need you and Isabella gone before he gets inside. He's already moving, pulling me toward the door. "Marco's taking you to the Adirondacks property today. Right now." "We're not ready." "There's no time to be ready. Rosa's already packed your things. The car's waiting." We rush upstairs, Isabella sensing the tension and clinging to me tighter. In my room, I find 2 suitcases already packed, sitting by the door. Rosa appears with Isabella's favorite stuffed animals and blankets. "Everything else will be sent later," she says, her face pale. "We need to go now." Marcello follows us down the back stairs to a door I've never used. It leads to a private garage where a black SUV idles. Marco behind the wheel. 2 more guards I don't recognize are in the front seats of a second vehicle. Marcello helps load our luggage, his movements efficient and controlled. But when he turns to say goodbye, I see the cracks in his composure. He kneels in front of Isabella, taking her small hands in his. Bella, baby, you're going to go on an adventure with Chloe and Rosa for a little while. Remember our cabin in the mountains, where we went last summer? She nods, her eyes wide and frightened. You'll be safe there. And I'll come get you as soon as I can, okay? I promise. He pulls her close, holding her like he's afraid to let go. I love you so much. More than anything in this world. Isabella throws her arms around his neck, and I see his eyes squeeze shut, his face contorting with the effort of holding himself together. When he finally releases her, Rosa takes her hand and leads her to the SUV. Marco helps them inside, giving last-minute instructions to the other guards. Marcello turns to me, and the look in his eyes makes my heart shatter. Keep her safe, he says hoarsely. That's all that matters. Keep her safe. I will. I promise. I step closer, lowering my voice. But you have to promise to stay alive, to come back to us. His hand comes up to cut my face. I'll try. Not good enough. Promise me, Marcello. Chloe. Promise me. Tears are streaming down my face now, and I don't care. Because I love you, and I need you to come back. We both do. Something breaks in his expression. He pulls me against him, his lips finding mine in a kiss that's desperate and claiming and goodbye all at once. When we break apart, we're both breathing hard. I love you too, he whispers against my lips. I didn't want to. It's the worst possible timing. But I do. Then stay alive. I grip his shirt in my fists. Whatever it takes. Stay alive and come back to us. Miss Bennett, we need to go, Marco calls from the driver's seat. Marcello walks me to the SUV, his hand at the small of my back until the last possible moment. I climb in beside Isabella, and she immediately crawls into my lap, burying her face in my shoulder. As the garage door opens and we pull out into the gray December morning, I twist in my seat to watch Marcello standing there. He raises one hand in farewell, his expression carved from stone. And then he's gone, the garage door closing, cutting him off from view. He'll be okay, Rosa says quietly from the front seat, but I hear the doubt in her voice. I hold Isabella tighter and pray she's right. The property in the Adirondacks is beautiful in a stark, isolated way. A modern cabin perched on the edge of a frozen lake, surrounded by pine forest. It's luxurious but remote. Miles from the nearest town, accessible only by a long private road. The security is just as tight as the brownstone. Guards patrol the perimeter. Cameras monitor every approach. We're safe here, but safe feels like a cage. Isabella misses her father. She wanders the cabin restlessly, clutching her stuffed rabbit, her eyes constantly moving to the windows as if expecting to see him appear. At night, she has nightmares, waking with silent screams that break my heart. I sing to her, hold her, try to keep her occupied during the day with lessons and games and walks around the frozen lake. But nothing fills the absence of her father. Rosa tries to keep us distracted with cooking projects and holiday decorating. It's almost Christmas, she reminds us. We should make the cabin festive. But how do you celebrate when the person you love is in danger, possibly dying, and you have no way to help? Marco calls every day with updates. The meeting with Salvatore went poorly. The truce talks collapsed. There have been incidents, shootings, ambushes, warehouses burned. The war Marcello tried to avoid is now in full swing. Is he okay? I ask every time. Is Marcello alive? Yes. Marco always answers. He's alive. But the pause before he answers gets longer each day. 3 weeks pass. Then 4. Christmas comes and goes in a blur of forced cheer and barely masked anxiety. Isabella draws pictures of the 3 of us together, her, me, and her father, and leaves them on the windowsill like offerings to absent gods. I'm lying awake one night when my phone rings. Not the secure phone Marcello gave me, but my personal cell. The number is blocked. My heart stops. This is how you learn someone has died. A blocked number in the middle of the night. Hello? My voice shakes. Chloe, it's Marcello, and relief crashes through me so violently I nearly drop the phone. Are you safe? Yes, we're all safe. Are you? I'm fine. Listen, I don't have much time. Salvatore knows where you are. The world tilts. How? Someone in my organization sold me out. I'm handling it, but you need to move. Marco's on his way to you now with new instructions. There's a boathouse on the far side of the lake. Get there and wait. I'll come for you myself as soon as I can. Marcello, what's happening? I'm ending this. Tonight. One way or another. His voice is rough with exhaustion and determination. If something goes wrong, if I don't make it, Marco knows what to do. He'll get you and Isabella out of the country. New identities, new lives. The money in the safe will last you years. No. Tears stream down my face. No, you don't get to say goodbye. You promised you'd come back. Chloe, you promised. I'm crying openly now, not caring who hears. You said you loved us. You don't get to die on us. You don't get to make Isabella lose another parent. You fight. Do you hear me? You fight, and you win, and you come back to us. Silence on the other end. Then, so quietly I almost miss it. I'll try. Promise me. I promise. And this time, I hear the conviction in his voice. I promise I'll come back to you. The line goes dead. I sit in the darkness, clutching the phone, trying to breathe through the panic. He's alive. He's fighting. He's coming back. He has to come back. Rosa appears in the doorway, her face pale in the dim light. Marco just called on the house line. We need to move. Now. We wake Isabella, bundling her into warm clothes. She's groggy and confused, but she doesn't protest as we hurry out into the freezing night. The guards escort us down to the lake, flashlights cutting through the darkness. The boathouse is small, built into the rocky shore, more bunker than storage space. Inside, there are supplies, weapons, a radio. Marco arrives 20 minutes later, with 2 more guards. Salvatore's men are 15 minutes out, he reports grimly. Maybe 10. They're coming in from multiple directions. What do we do? Rosa asks, her arm around Isabella. We hold them off until Mr. Nell. Marcello arrives. Marco checks his weapons with practiced efficiency. He's on his way. He'll be here. And if he's not? I ask, hating myself for voicing the possibility. Marco's eyes meet mine. Then we execute the evacuation plan. But it won't come to that. Mr. Marcello doesn't break his promises. We wait in tense silence, listening to the sound of our own breathing, the wind howling outside. Isabella huddles against me, shivering despite her winter coat. Then we hear it, gunfire, shouting. The distinctive sound of multiple vehicles approaching fast. Stay here, Marco orders, positioning himself at the door with his weapon drawn. Don't come out no matter what you hear. The next 20 minutes are the longest of my life. We hear fighting outside, gunshots, shouting, the sound of breaking glass. Rosa holds Isabella's ears, trying to muffle the sounds of violence. I stand frozen, listening, praying. Then sudden silence, footsteps approaching the boathouse, heavy, purposeful. Marco tenses, finger on the trigger. The door bursts open, and there he is. Marcello stands in the doorway, backlit by the burning wreckage of vehicles behind him. He's covered in blood and soot, his suit jacket gone, his shirt torn. But he's alive. He's standing. He's here. It's over, he says, his voice raw. Salvatore's dead. His organization is finished. Isabella tears herself from my arms and runs to him. He drops to his knees and catches her, holding her so tightly I worry he'll hurt her. But she doesn't protest, just wraps her tiny arms around his neck and holds on. Over her head, his eyes find mine, and in them, I see relief and triumph and love and a promise kept. I cross to them, and his arm snakes out, pulling me close. The three of us kneel there on the cold floor of the boathouse, holding each other, survivors of a war that tried to destroy us but failed. "It's really over?" I whisper against his shoulder. "It's really over." The rest of his organization scattered when he died. The other families have agreed to honor the original territory divisions. There's peace. He pulls back to look at me, his hand cupping my face. "We're safe now. All of us." Isabella lifts her head from her father's shoulder. She looks at him, then at me, and something shifts in her expression. Her lips move, forming words, and sound finally comes out. "Home," she whispers, her voice rusty from disuse but clear and beautiful. "Can we go home?" Marcello's face crumbles. Tears stream down his cheeks as he clutches his daughter closer. "Yes, baby. Yes, we can go home." He looks at me over Isabella's head, and in his eyes, I see our future. Not perfect, not safe, but ours. All of us, he says. We're all going home. 6 months later, the garden is in full bloom, roses and peonies and hollyhocks creating an explosion of color against the brownstone's limestone walls. Isabella runs through the paths, her laughter echoing off the stone, chasing butterflies with the single-minded determination of a healthy, happy 5-year-old. She talks constantly now. Questions, observations, songs, stories, making up for 8 months of silence with an endless stream of words. Sometimes I miss the quiet, but mostly I'm just grateful to hear her voice. I sit on the garden bench, one hand resting on my barely visible baby bump, watching her play. 6 months ago, I couldn't have imagined this peace, this contentment, this family we've built from the ashes of violence and loss. The brownstone is different now. Still secured, still protected, but the atmosphere has changed. There's laughter here now. Music, life. Marcello has changed too. He still runs his empire, still makes hard decisions, still exists in a world I'll never fully understand. But he's learned to compartmentalize, to keep his darkness away from his family. When he walks through these doors, he's just Marcello. Just a father, a husband, a man trying to do better. We got married in a small ceremony 3 months ago. Just us, Isabella, Rosa, Marco, and a judge Marcello has known for years. Isabella was our flower girl, taking her duties very seriously, scattering petals with precise care. When Marcello slipped the ring on my finger, a platinum band with a single diamond, simple and perfect, Isabella whispered, "Now we're a real family." She wasn't wrong. I hear the front door open, familiar footsteps approaching. Isabella hears it too, and runs toward the house, shouting, "Daddy! Daddy's home!" Marcello appears in the garden doorway, still in his suit, his tie loosened. He scoops up Isabella as she launches herself at him, spinning her around while she giggles with delight. "How are my girls?" he asks, settling her on his hip as he crosses to me. "We're good." Isabella learned a new song on the piano. She's been practicing all day. "Have you?" He beams at his daughter. "Will you play it for me after dinner?" She nods enthusiastically. "And then can we read the dragon story?" "Absolutely." He sets her down, and she runs off to continue her butterfly pursuit. Marcello sits beside me on the bench, his arm around my shoulders, his other hand finding its way to my stomach. "How are you feeling?" "Tired, nauseous, happy." I lean into him, breathing in his familiar scent. "How was your day?" "Long, boring. Multiple meetings about shipping contracts and port regulations." He kisses my temple. "I'd much rather be here." "Liar. You love it." "I love this more." His hand presses gently against my stomach. "All of this. You, Isabella, the baby. This is what I'm building my empire for now. Not power or money or territory. Just this." I turn to look at him. This dangerous, complicated man who somehow became mine. "Do you ever regret it? Choosing us over the life you had?" "Never." He doesn't hesitate. "That life was empty, Chloe. I was powerful and rich, and completely alone. You gave me something to live for instead of just exist. Both of you did. Isabella runs back to us, breathless and flushed. Mama, look, I caught one. She opens her cupped hands slightly to reveal a butterfly, its wings gently beating. Mama. She started calling me that a month ago, tentatively at first, testing to see if I'd accept the title. I cried the first time, pulling her close and telling her I'd be honored to be her mama. She's beautiful, I say now, but I think she wants to go back to her family. Should we let her go? Isabella considers this seriously, then nods. She opens her hands fully, and the butterfly takes flight, disappearing into the roses. Come on, Marcelo says, standing and offering me his hand. Let's go inside. Rosa's making your favorite for dinner. We walk toward the house together, Isabella skipping ahead, Marcello's hand firm and warm in mine. Through the windows, I can see Rosa setting the table. Marco, speaking with one of the guards. The warm glow of home. This isn't the life I planned. It's not safe or conventional or anything I could have predicted. But it's mine, ours, built on a foundation of love, strong enough to survive anything. As we step inside, Isabella tugs on my hand. Mama, will you teach me a new song tomorrow? Of course, sweetheart. What do you want to learn? She thinks for a moment, then smiles. The lullaby. The one you sang when you first came here. The one that made me feel safe. My throat tightens with emotion. I kneel down and pull her close. It's called Stella Stellina. My grandmother taught it to me when I was little. And now you'll teach it to me? She says, her arms around my neck. And I'll teach it to the baby when he comes. Or she, Marcelo corrects with a smile. Or she, Isabella agrees. Then she looks at both of us, her expression suddenly serious. We're going to be okay forever, right? Nobody's going to take us away from each other? Marcelo and Bakaman, I exchange glances. We both know we can't promise absolute safety. His world will always carry risks. But we can promise this. We're a family, I tell her firmly. And families stay together, no matter what. No matter what, Marcelo echoes, pulling us both close. And standing there in the warmth of our home, surrounded by the people I love most in this world, I believe it. Despite everything, despite the darkness we've survived and the dangers that may still come, we'll be okay. Because we chose each other. We fought for each other. And we'll keep fighting for as long as it takes. That's what love is in a world like this. Not poetry or romance or grand gestures. It's choosing to stand together when everything else falls apart. It's building something beautiful from broken pieces. It's looking at someone and saying, "You're worth the risk, worth the danger, worth everything." And we are, all of us, worth everything. That night, after Isabella is asleep and the house has grown quiet, I find Marcello on the roof terrace. He's loosened his tie completely, his jacket discarded, standing at the railing and looking out over the city lights. I wrap my arms around him from behind, resting my cheek against his back. "What are you thinking about?" "Everything. Nothing." His hands cover mine, holding them against his chest. How different my life is now compared to a year ago. How close I came to losing all of this before I even knew I had it. But you didn't lose it. We're here. We're okay, because of you. He turns in my arms to face me. You walked into my life and changed everything, made me want to be better. Made me believe I could be better. You were always capable of being better. You just needed a reason. He pulls me closer, his forehead resting against mine. I love you, Chloe Marcello. Hearing my new name still sends a thrill through me. I love you too. We stand there under the stars, holding each other, two broken people who found a way to heal. The city sprawls below us, full of danger and darkness and possibility. But up here, in this moment, we're safe, we're loved, we're home. And that's enough. That's everything. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you loved this story, check out the other videos on your screen now. I think you'll really enjoy them. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. See you in the next story.